So for the first one, to solve an absolute value equation or inequality, we get rid of the stuff that's on the same side of the letter but not inside of it. That's going to be the plus the 6. So the opposite of adding 6 to both sides is to subtract 6 on both sides. And when we do that, we're going to have the absolute value of x minus 2 is going to be greater than or equal to 5. Now we need to break this up into two different types of inequalities. The first is we will write this exactly how we see it, but without the absolute value. So we're just going to write x minus 2 is greater than or equal to 5. And then we're also going to write x minus 2. And then we need to flip the inequality symbol and change the sign. So it's going to be x minus 2 is less than or equal to negative 5. And then we go ahead and solve this like normal just by adding 2 to both sides to both inequalities. It's going to give us x is greater than or equal to 7, and also x is less than or equal to negative 3. So to write this out in interval notation, we're going to start with a negative infinity, and we always have an open parentheses with anytime you're next to a positive infinity or negative infinity, always parentheses, and then to negative 3. And we put a bracket on this side because it could equal negative 3. And then we're going to have our little U symbol here, which means or it could be from 7, put the bracket there, to positive infinity. For the second inequality, there's nothing outside of the absolute values. We need to break it up into two different pieces to start off. So again, the first one, we're going to rewrite it exactly how we see it, but without the absolute value. So x minus 5 over 4 is less than 4. And then we're also going to write x minus 5 is greater than negative 4. And note the also, because it's a less than symbol, they may write this out as, pretend the absolute value symbols weren't here for a moment. Well, I'm just going to write it out. Negative 4 is less than x minus 5 over 4, which is less than 4. They may write it out like this. We're going to get the same thing no matter what we do. So the next step is to multiply both sides by 4. So my brown one will be x minus 5 is less than 16. And the other one's going to be x minus 5 is greater than negative 16. Got to be careful with the negatives. And now we're x minus 5, so the opposite or inverse of subtracting 5 is to add 5 to both sides. So we'll do that for both inequalities. And that's going to give us x is less than 21. X is greater than negative 11. Now there's no line underneath the inequality symbol this time. So when we write out the interval notation, it's going to be from negative 11 to 21. Because the key is it has to be between these two. And you may also see, like some textbooks, you'll put the and here. So it has to be less than 21 and greater than negative 11. So if you have any kind of questions, please email me.